welcome back guys to the SRL Classics League, and today we are here for Britain's Social in the Red Bull RB6. Now unfortunately I hadn't been able to do much practice for this race, but I'm going to leave you on board with my fastest qualifying lap here. Felt pretty damn hooked up, but hopefully I'll see you at the end of the lap. So somehow they're able to snag pole position by just 9,000ths of a second over my good friend Jack Hopwood from the last race. But Langman, our Tier 1 driver, is going to come through the final corner and he's not going to be able to go fastest. So pole position for the British Grand Prix. Quite happy, with that lap, considering I've been able to do one lap of practice for this race. That was about a 47.1, but this track, so short, you can get about 7-8 laps worth in one qualifying session. I was pretty happy with that, 9,000ths of a second quicker and able to get into the 46.3s even. I think that was fairly competitive, but hopefully, we can have a strong race just like we had last time out at Spa. But as you could see on the grid though, it was set to be a very, very rainy race here at Britain. No real surprises, the weather here was looking absolutely terrible, and to be honest, I had no idea how well this Red Bull would handle these conditions. I know Jack had run quite a few laps in Langman, he's AOR Tier 1, so he's meant to be quite quick on this game as well, so we'll have to wait and see how we do fare against these guys. With next to no practice, I probably should actually run some laps ready for the next race, which I think is in the Renault RB26, but here we are then on the grid, ready for the British Grand Prix. It's 5 lights here at Silverstone, and it's lights out, and away we go at last there. Charlie Whiting finally opting to do that, but getting a buttload of wheel spin as we try and get the car off the line, nearly losing the back end there, so you have to short shift up all the way up into P5. A couple of cars going to be able to go through, down at turn 1, losing the back end as well there. Langman's going to be able to go through, Jack's already gone through, so we've completely lost the lead off the start there, but the back end just all over the place as we go down in towards turn 1, and to be honest, I was quite happy I was able to hold the car facing the right direction there, but that was certainly not the start I needed, and now it was going to try and be, try and keep up with Langman and Jack, two guys that really play this game probably far more than I do at the moment, just with other things around at the moment. But yeah, the first half lap of this Grand Prix, and it had not been successful for myself. We really needed to try and get into a rhythm nice and quickly there. You can see just fighting the back end so much as we try and, keep this car facing the right direction and locking up in towards the final couple of corners there, as Langman and Jack going to be squabbling quite a lot as they come out of the final corner here. They're both trying to fight for the win at the moment. I'm just trying to keep the car facing the right direction still as we lose the back end out of the final corner. This car very, very sensitive to bumps, and this track very, very bumpy here. So, any elevation change, this car really, really does try and snap out on you there. But skipping on to the end of lap 4 here, you can see those two are still piling on the pressure towards each other there. But, it's just about trying to keep it on the track at the moment, and Jack unfortunately is not going to be able to do that there. He makes a bit of a mistake through turn 2 there, just spot him on the inside of the corner there. So up into P2 of the Grand Prix for me, and this was looking alright for me at this moment in time. Just going to try and hold on to my position, keep it facing the right direction. Langman didn't actually score any points at Spa last week out, so if we can try and just keep the good points rolling, then we will still be looking strong in this race. But on to lap 11 of the Grand Prix, and the track was drying out quite quickly at the moment, so I was starting to get a bit more confidence in the car, but unfortunately over that bump through turn 2 then, not exactly what I wanted. Half spun the car, couldn't really keep it facing the right direction there, so had to go for a full 360 there, moving back down into P3 of the race. And now Langman will have sort of about a 15-second lead at this moment in time, but the crossover period was also going to be very, very crucial in this race. We'll have to wait and see how well that does fare for all of us. But now skipping on to lap 13 of the race, and I was in a really, really tough position now. The tyres were, really, really struggling for wear, and unfortunately it was too wet to go onto the dries as of right now, but, you know, we desperately wanted to try and nurse these cars through until, you know, the dry period as we go through the exit onto the long back straight there, and unfortunately we've got a puncture, and I didn't realise it at that moment, completely lit up the rear tyres, so it's straight into the wall, and that was not what I needed in this Grand Prix. Going to wait for everyone to go through there, you know, don't want any, you know, dangerous rejoins onto the circuit there, but that was not what I needed there, and unfortunately, just everything from that moment on just went absolutely terribly. You can see, just trying to keep the car facing the right direction there, and probably in the course of trying to nurse the car back to the pits, we lost out on roughly about a minute, I'd guess. You know, we got lapped by basically everyone that was still competing in the race properly there, and now finally able to get into the pit lane onto another set of the wet tyres there, which was also not what I wanted. I wanted to go back on to a set of the dries, but coming down to the end of the pit lane here and trying to, you know, we're down in P9 of the Grand Prix now, and this race now was effectively going to have to be damage limitation there, but onto a set of the wet tyres like I really did not want. You know, wanted to go onto a set of dries and then try and nurse them right through to the very end of the Grand Prix there, but now coming into the pit lane just one lap later, once again, you know, trying to keep these tyres, you know, want to be on the quickest tyres at the time, and now, you know, we were going to have to go for an almighty comeback during this Grand Prix. P9 in the race, I think Bosley was about a lap behind me somehow in this stage of the Grand Prix, but now it's going to be crucial, you know, to try. This race now was just damage limitation. You know, Jack was obviously going to outscore me at this point unless he binned it, so, you know, if I could come out of this race still somehow with the championship lead, then I would be very happy with that. But, well, you know, I'm making up positions now. USR Hamilton has opted to retire from the Grand Prix. Not really too sure what has happened to him there. I think he might have opted to do it in the pit lane there. Not really too sure why. But yeah, that's going to hand me an extra position. A couple of guys had disconnected or were running AI at this moment in time during the Grand Prix. So, you know, that was going to be an extra couple of positions for me, as Tom Gorian, unfortunately, there disconnected from the Grand Prix as well. But yeah, next up on my hit list was Overrated Llama. But there, as we come through the final corner, we set fastest lap, but bin it over the line there, and that was certainly not helpful for myself here as we go try and get the car facing the right direction again, and we're going to go another lap down to the race leader, Jack Len. Not really too sure how he's been able to get back into the race lead, but fair play to him. You know, he's very quick on this game. But yeah, well, we're 2 laps down now at the moment, but by the time we got to lap 32 of the Grand Prix, you can see we're actually up into P6 here, where we were all over the back of Active Beacon. Now, he was in P4 of the Grand Prix, a lap ahead of me there, and we're going to think, you know, just make a little bit of a dummy down towards turn 1. They're not really too sure what the defending's all about. I'm not going to go for a move there, but yeah, very aggressive on his defending, but we're going to send one right around the outside of him there. You know, we felt like we were a lot quicker than him at the moment there, and, you know, potentially, depending on how the pace fared and if he had to pit again, we might be able to actually get back up to him for P4 in the Grand Prix. Stracho had unfortunately disconnected as well there, so, you know, these guys just helping me out just that little bit more to squeeze a few extra points out of this Grand Prix. As you can see, Stracho in P5 there. So Active Beacon was, yeah, just 1 lap ahead of me. 20 laps to go in at this Grand Prix. I was going to try and make it right through to the very end of the Grand Prix, and I think Beacon was going to pit very soon. So this was looking quite good for myself here. You know, as you can see, you know, I think he's about 45-46 seconds up the road now. He's going to lose about 30 in the pit lane. So if we can close down about 16 seconds in at the final laps of this Grand Prix, then we could still be looking at P4, and that is exactly what happened. He pit, and by lap 42, you know, only 10 laps later, we'd effectively been able to recover a whole entire lap of this Grand Prix here. Unfortunately, get a penalty through turn 1 as we ever so slightly clipped the first corner there. But yeah, coming down in towards turn 2 and turn 3, we were all over the back of him there. He nearly bins it into me there. Not really too sure, you know, if, you know, he's just clearly not as confident at this moment in time as myself. But he's got much fresher tyres than me at the moment. You know, he's therefore got a much quicker car, but we're still pushing and feeling quite confident, I'm not going to lie. You know, we were looking good at this moment in time as we come through in towards the final few corners of this lap. And Beacon, he's a little bit all over the shop. The team want me to pit, but he runs a little bit deep in towards the final couple of corners. We're going to pounce on that opportunity and now go right around the outside into the second to last corner there. And now we move up into P4 of the Grand Prix here, but we have 6 seconds worth of penalties, and I don't think he did at this moment in time, so it's going to be crucial, you know, that we were going to try and build up a bit of a gap to Beacon behind me as well, and, you know, try and hold on. You know, if we could get 6 seconds ahead of him, that would be very ideal. But at this moment, we also were having to worry a bit about the tyres as well. You know, 62%. We had another 9 laps to go of this Grand Prix here, but hopefully, you know, we could just try and hold on to these tyres at this moment in time during the Grand Prix. But now, by lap 51, I actually forgot, you know, that we were so far behind that we actually wouldn't have to do, you know, the whole Grand Prix here. So Jack able to come through and win the race. You know, credit to him, absolutely dominant drive by him there. Very, very well deserved there. But as we come through lap 51 of the Grand Prix, for being 2 laps down, you know, I think P4 we could still be very, very happy with. But we still had to watch out for these tyres on the final couple of laps of this Grand Prix. 78%, this was exactly where puncture territory was back on the set of the wet tyres of, you know, right at the very start of the Grand Prix there. But down in towards the final couple of laps of, well, final couple of corners even, of this Grand Prix. We're going to go all the way back up to P4 there, and, you know, that was damage limitation if I do say so myself. So on the whole, very, very happy. Well, I say very, very happy, you know, we should be fighting for race victories, I feel, in this league. But yeah, considering all the bad luck that we had right at the very start with the tyres, just not able to get as far as I wanted, you know, to get back up all the way to P4 in that Grand Prix. I think we could be very, very happy with that in the end of that Grand Prix. But yeah, Jack, as I said, able to take home the race victory ahead of Langman and Jammy there. So I think, you know, credits to those guys, you know, just able to keep it on the road a lot better than myself, and, you know, they did exactly what they needed. Jack, therefore, will have taken the championship lead by 6 points over myself, but, you know, I'm going to come back stronger next time. I'm actually, you know, going to run some practice for the next Grand Prix. But yeah, hopefully, you know, we can try and come back on a high next time out. And if I'm not mistaken, it is Hungary in the Renault R26, but, you know, we shall wait and see. Ready for that Grand Prix. Unfortunately, a little bit of a weird glitch where somehow Langman won the race by 39 minutes. But yeah, P4 in the end, 1 lap behind the race leaders, looking to, you know, try and get a much better result next time out at Hungary. Yeah, not a track that I particularly enjoy, but yeah, hopefully it can still go well for myself. But thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully, you know, you guys have enjoyed this video. Do not forget to like, subscribe if you're new around here as well and you want to see more content from the channel. But that has been SRL Classics Silverstone Short in the Red Bull RB6, and I will see you guys next time for a brand new video.